Hi everyone, welcome to the last project of today's Stampin' Extravaganza class, and this is a little bonus project for you. It's a little set of cute note cards. So you will have an acetate box. Yours will be folded completely flat. You can just fold along the edges to make that up. So inside your little box you will have, or you're going to make, 3 little note cards. 1, 2, 3, or just move those into shot. 1, 2, 3, and then you will have 3 envelopes that are 3 inches in size, so they fit in perfectly into your little box like so. 1, 2, 3. This is a great little gift to send someone or to sell at craft fairs, and it's really sweet to put together. So we're going to decorate the outside of the box and we're going to make our cards, and it's really quite straightforward. So you will need one of your sheets of A4 cardstock that you have left over, and you're going to need your trimmer. So we're going to cut this piece of cardstock down, and we're going to cut it down so that it measures 6 inches by 9 inches. So to start with, we're going to cut our 6 inches first, and the best way to do that is to line it up so that it is portrait in your trimmer at 6 inches and cut all the way to the bottom. And then if you've got a Stampin' Up trimmer, you need to move your arm out, and then you're going to line that up at 9 inches and you're going to cut. Okay, so we now have just a 6 inch by 9 inch piece of card. Now you have 2 options. You can either, we can either score our cardstock first at 3 inches and then stamp just on one side, or you can stamp all over this piece of card so that your pattern is front and back of your card and then score. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the scoring first. Okay, so I'm going to bring my trimmer back in and I'm going to line it up at 3 inches along the short edge, and I'm going to score. What we then have is we have a really long card. So we're going to fold it over like that. We're going to bring our stamping mat in, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp our 3 images all over this card. So we're going to start with some Highland Heather, and when you're doing some stamping like this, always start with your largest image. So we're going to stamp 1, and this is entirely your own design. You can obviously follow what I'm doing, but I tend to find if we stamp them like this, you will actually get a couple of flowers on your card front. If you stamp them in the middle, then the flowers are just going to get lost. Okay, so then add in your extra layers of stamping. Okay, so just like so, and then our third layer. Oh, the neighbours are just coming back. Okay, so we have our 3 images, and then we're going to stamp our leaves. So for the leaves, I've got again this lovely tall 3 leaf, and we're going to do first and second. So we've got first and second, and I've got something on my stamp. There we have, it's gone now. Okay, so we've got 1 and then 2, and then over here 1 and 2, and then down here I'm going to do it over this side, 1 and then 2. Okay, and then we can go in with our buds. So we'll have 1 about there, 1 about there, 1 about there, and we're going to have 1 down here at the bottom. Okay, now if when you cut your cards you think you've got a bit too much space, you can add in some more design, some more stamping. So now we add in our buds, and this is saffron that I'm stamping with, so the yellow in our subtles collection. So you now have something that looks like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut those down into 3 cards. So we're going to pop that in like so. And move our stamping mat. So we're going to line this up at 3 inches, and we're going to cut. So we have 1, we have 2, and then that is our 3rd. So there we have 3 card bases. Okay, so then now what we can do, we have 3 scallop circles, little ones, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 3 plain circles like so. So we can stick these together. One. So I actually used a 2-inch punch to cut these, but as the 2-inch punch is now retired, you can also use your layering circle dies. So these are also really quick cards to put together and are great for just sending someone a little note. So once we've done that, we can add some stamping dimensionals to the backs, and I'm just going to cut some of this down. Always use all of your dimensionals, none goes to waste. We have 1, we have 2, and then we have 3. And these just go in the centre of our cards, like so. Oh, it'd help if I took the back off. 2, and then 3. Okay, and then we can add our sentiments. So you can either stamp "Wishing you all things fabulous" onto your Purple Posy cardstock and cut it down so that it looks like that, or you can cut it down so that it looks, you can add it as a strip. So I'm going to do that. So you can use the rest of your A5 Purple Posy cardstock that you have, and I'm stamping with Gorgeous Grape. So this purple is from our Brights collection. So we want 1, 2, 3, and then we can trim these down. Oops, that one just flew away. And I think sometimes it's easier to cut things on purpose at an angle, or to make something look like it's deliberately angled, because that way it doesn't look as if you can't cut straight. So that's why with these banners I'm making sure they are deliberately angled. There is a method to my stamping, like so. And then this we can add to our card fronts, and this is with wet glue. Because these are going in a box, I don't want to add too much dimension, hence why these are being stuck down with wet glue. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to strengthen the insides of your cards. So you will just need another piece of Whisper White. You have plenty in your kit, so don't panic too much. And you're going to cut a strip, and you're going to line this up in your trimmer so that it's portrait at 2 3/4 inches and cut. And then you're going to cut 3 pieces that are 2 3/4 inches wide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I call this conveyor belt crafting because it feels like you're doing everything along a conveyor belt. Okay, and then these just get stuck inside like so. So we have 1, we have 2, and we have 3. Okay, and then the last bit that is left is the front of our box. So you're going to take your final scalloped purple posy circle and your stitched purple posy, sorry, your stitched Whisper White circle, and we're just going to stamp around the edge. So you're going to need your 3 images again. So I'm going to stamp just off the edge like so. So that's 1 layer. That's 2 layers. And that's 3 layers. And then we want our leaf. Which is here, and I'm using the tall 3 leaf. And we'll pop this down the bottom. So we want 1, and then we want a second generation 1, and then we want a lovely bud. So we'll have that about there, and then we want the yellow piece, the yellow image, like so. Okay, so we have our little circle like that. We can stick this to our scallop circle like so, and then you want to bring in your final piece of scrap purple posy for our sentiment that we're going to stamp with Gorgeous Grape like so. And then this you can cut down into a banner and just pop across the front. Or what you can do, which is what I've done, is just trim round it a bit more. Can't have one of my projects without some fussy cutting, can you? So I'm just following the edge of the letters, should I say. Like so. And then that can be stuck on with a dimensional. Like so. And then that is going to be stuck onto the front of your box with Stampin' Dimensionals as well. So there we have our little extra project all finished, and that's a lovely little set of note cards. That's 6 cards in total and a box. Aren't you guys lucky? Thanks then.